There's a certain multiverse to Summer Walker, and a multifacetedness to her that makes her one of the most captivating R&B artists that we've ever had, especially for someone who came on the scene with little to no stage presence. And yet somehow she's one of the most magnetic artists of our generation. Because with Summer, you're not just getting one artist, you're getting 5, 10, a new one every era. A new evolution of vibes she's explored in the past. Her artistry shape shifts, her visuals shape shift, her music shape shifts. We're talking about a woman who has a history of singing about heartbreak and infidelity, suddenly in a scandal where she openly admits to being a proud side piece and is defending it. It's a wild contradiction, but it also fits into her multiverse perfectly. So today I want to talk about the Summer Walker multiverse, the many summers that we've seen visually, musically, and personally, and how all of these versions make her one of the most intriguing figures in R&B today. R&B is a genre that's rooted in tradition. It's built on lineage, influence, and history. But when Summer Walker came into the scene, she was more than a breath of fresh air. She was like an energizer battery. She recharged the genre. What made her so impactful is that she brought something new by pulling from the old. And that's why, to me, Summer Walker is the definition of a neo-soul artist. She blends R&B with indie, pop, hip-hop, and alternative influences in a way that feels intentional and not diluted. And that's why artists like Erykah Badu gravitate towards her. Even though the music that they make is different, what they did to the music industry when they came on the scene is very similar. They really shifted the energy. They're both R&B artists, but even that label feels a bit limiting because there's always been a lot more happening. And we often have these conversations when it comes to artists like Beyonce and SZA, R&B artists who are also pop stars. But this is a different lane entirely. Yeah, Summer has flirted with pop, but she's always been very adamant about not wanting to be a pop star. And that resistance is actually part of what makes her so important. So let's start with Summer's origins and then get into who she's become. So Summer Walker is an artist from Atlanta, Georgia, who started as a cleaning technician and a stripper while working on her music. And I think this really influences the honesty in her artistry. She blew up around 2019 off of her raw, intimate songs, and she was known for having anxiety, awkwardness, and little stage presence. But what really made Summer Walker wasn't her story. It was the aesthetics, the visuals, the energies that she moved through, almost like characters in a story. Sure, we had this girl from humble beginnings who was making it into the music industry, but she also was very open with her past as a stripper and her past cleaning houses. This is different from the traditional rags to riches story that we get because it's not glamorous. And I think from the get-go, we knew that this was going to be a different artist than what we were used to. When Summer Walker first dropped her EP, Last Day of Summer, she really didn't even show her face. The visuals were mainly her silhouette, shadows, soft light, almost as if she wanted us to take the music before anything else and just focus on that. It's very interesting juxtaposed to what we see today, where her visuals and her appearance are kind of the focal point, and it almost rivals being known for her music. And when we finally saw her, she had this bare-faced, natural, girl next door vibe that felt straight off of Tumblr. Even though Tumblr was over at that point, she gave early Jhené, early SZA, but in a way that was purely her. So naturally, she had this mysterious, soft girl aesthetic that drew people in. And on top of that, the music was hitting. Some of the songs off of her first EP still hit today, like Deep, CPR, and of course Girls Need Love, which blew her up overnight. Suddenly she was a household name and she was the new face of R&B pretty much with this new sound. Even in Girls Need Love, the honesty was always there. It's not something that you traditionally hear in music. There was no big glam in her visuals. Really just girl next door authenticity, on top of the authenticity in her lyrics. But with her breakthrough album, Over It, she transformed that energy. The artwork for it was youthful, vibrant, with her face on the front cover. It was giving nostalgia, early 2000s nostalgia, but also something completely new. It was exactly what R&B was missing. It felt like a callback to something from the 90s or the early 2000s, but also completely new at the same time. And the music definitely matched the visuals. Songs like Come Through, Playing Games, Tonight. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, Body. It's very impressive even thinking about it because Over It had so many hits on that one album. A lot of artists would have folded under the pressure of having to come back from an album that was so monumental. And you would think somebody in this position, this is what most artists dream of, especially R&B, which was the genre that people at the time were saying was dying off. Summer seemed to be suffering under all of that fame. Personally, she became known for anxiety, poor performances, bad attitudes toward the fans. On top of her chaotic love life and the public fallout with London on the Track and the many side pieces that he was dealing with, she was having her musical breakthrough but was seemingly miserable. And honestly, this just added to the appeal. Over It is when Summer Walker became a mainstream R&B force. With all the anticipation, instead of following up immediately with a new album, Summer went back to her roots with the Clear EP. Now this was very stripped down, acoustic, indie, just her and her guitar with a live band and backup singers. This was her reminding fans that she wasn't going to abandon her roots. She was still that Summer Walker who was on the guitar on YouTube. And this is even reflected in the visuals for the live EP album. There's moments where you literally can see flashbacks of her on YouTube trying to make it, but now a whole production behind her. It's like if you literally picked her up out of those videos and plopped her into a whole production. So it's a beautiful full circle moment, and I think that Clear will always be held to a high regard by fans who may not be as comfortable with the many musical and aesthetic changes she would go on to make. And I do think it was kind of a rejection of the pop R&B lane that she was being ushered into. And it's honestly some of her best work. This was truly grown folks music. Songs like Settling, Wasted, some of the best songs in her entire career. And in my notes, I said that she was overdue for something like this again, and I didn't know that that's what Soft Life was, but we'll get to that later. After Clear, we have personally one of my favorite projects by Summer Walker, Life on Earth. With this persona, I would call it like a trap alien. The music is R&B, trap music, it's experimental, it's almost a little poppy, basically the opposite of Clear. And I really like how there's these distinctions and the world building of it all. So with Clear, we went back to not even having her on the cover. It's literally just clear droplets of water. With Life on Earth, we have her iconic, now surgically enhanced silhouette standing on top of this truck in the middle of a desert. And it feels reflective of where she was in her career. It's definitely showing that she was in the midst of a journey and a change. It's highly underrated as an EP. Shout out to No One Noah. I think that every single song that she has with No One Noah is a hit. That's where we get White Tea, that's where we get SWV. There's also Deeper, which is one of my favorite songs by Summer Walker. Life on Earth, in my opinion, is her most slept on work. And the visuals were cosmic, they were elevated, they were experimental. It was really just Summer having fun and being rich and enjoying her wealth and just being happy. I think this is one of her best personas sonically. It really just gives, I'm hot, I'm thriving, I'm young, I'm rich, my body's tea, and I'm making money. It's chaotic but cohesive. What I like about Summer is once these personas develop, she continues to include them in other projects, namely the Over It series. With the massive cultural reset that Over It was, and with the touchback on her roots that Clear was, the experimental trap bop essence of Life on Earth, a lot of pressure has been built up. That sophomore slump, that sophomore curse is a real thing. But what did Summer Walker do? Arguably, a lot of people think she outdid herself with Still Over It. This artwork, we have her face hidden by sunglasses in a limousine, paparazzi's flashing, and it instantly gives celebrity, superstar. We also have the alternative, which I personally like a little more, that shows her in the kitchen holding her baby on the phone. So much can be said by this one picture. She's a new mom, but she's a working mom. She's still handling business. She has money now. She has luxury now. The face is different. The body is different. Her life is different, but she still has that honest authenticity to her. And motherhood isn't stopping her. She's grown for real now. Over It came out in 2019. When I personally was in college, I was probably about 19 or 20, and it's definitely that era of feeling grown. With Still Over It, this is being grown for real. Summer Walker is grown for real now. And as an era, it was known for her extensive surgeries, the very public breakup between Summer and London on the Track, and of course, the birth of her daughter, Bubbles, along with getting with Larry, getting the infamous face tat, becoming pregnant with twins again. There was a lot to unpack. A lot was going on with the Still Over It era, but the music was hitting. The music was hitting. Top tier music. She did not disappoint. And what you have to learn as a Summer Walker fan is you just gotta trust the process, because when she hits that studio, she's serious. But yeah, it was chaotic relationships, chaotic Instagram lives, chaotic everything. A lot of chaos. Not to mention, this was also around the vaccine situation, to which she was against that, which kept her from going to the BET Awards. The first single from the album was X for a Reason, featuring JT. And this was actually JT's first solo forte, which we really wouldn't see her as a solo artist until years later. I personally really like X for a Reason. The fans kind of hated on it, in my opinion, because of the more pop sound. As a result, Summer Walker basically was like, yeah, you guys are right, and stopped promoting it. And so from that, the song didn't really do what I think it could have did. I think it's a solid song, and I think JT did a really good job. I thought the video was great and fun, but people, I guess, were afraid that the whole album was gonna have that sound, and so she kind of just let that song die off. And I also feel like JT didn't have the confidence in herself as a solo artist at the time to really push that record. But even with the drama surrounding the lead single, she went on to deliver some of her most compelling and powerful music yet with Still Over It. Songs like No Love, Unloyal, Constant BS, Heartbreak, Humor, Chaos, and Honesty, all wrapped into one era-defining record. There's really no skips, but my favorite are Reciprocate, Constant BS, and Switch a Ninja Out. And of course, some of her best songs and collaborations in her career, No Love and Unloyal. No Love coming from the idea that you gave your heart to someone toxic, and if you could do it all over again, you wouldn't even lead with love. You take only what you wanted, use them for pleasure, and leave emotion out entirely. And then with Unloyal with Ari Lennox, learning to trust your own intuition and perspective, and learning to value your own view of yourself over the opinion of someone who's hurting you, and choosing to walk away. It's kind of like Just Might's older sister. And despite all this chaos, Summer was able to truly break the second album curse and really cement herself as a driving force in R&B. Still Over It was about refusing the celebrity polish and stepping into fame fully without abiding by the rules. This is peak Summer Walker. Dramatic, vulnerable, iconic, and messy all at once. Next we have Clear 2, the Soft Life EP, where Erykah Badu comes into the picture, a new persona which has been created. Now, Summer and Erykah at this point have had a relationship and a mentorship for years. Erykah was her doula. Erykah was very influential spiritually for her. We see Summer Walker getting into African traditional religions. You see a lot of these influences in the cover for Soft Life, which I really liked. It had this juxtaposition of having Sexyy Red, Sukihana, and Santana around her. People are known for like a hood, low vibrational, quote unquote, love and hip hop-esque aesthetic, mixed with this soft life healing vibe. On paper, I actually liked the idea, but I don't think it really translated. It kind of fell flat for me. Thinking about the project, I remember deeply Pull Up, but not much else. In re-listening, I did like the song with J. Cole, the J. Cole's Message. But as a fan, I do have to ask, like, you're getting messages from J. Cole, you're getting prayers from Sierra. What is with all this turmoil? And there was a lot of turmoil in that era. And in listening to the EP, it's not my favorite, especially compared to the first Clear. I feel like it wasn't a lot of songs just a lot of vibes. And I feel like that works for artists like Solange, but not so much for Summer. I will say that I did like Pull Up. I did really like New Type with Childish Gambino. It felt like Summer was giving Erykah and Childish was Childish 3000. I felt like that worked, I guess. It kind of fell flat for me. I think the message was supposed to be I'm zen and I want this soft life and I'm healing. But are we? I do think that J. Cole wasted that verse on her. Personally, she was catching a lot of flack from her ever-changing appearance, her relationship, and the company that she was keeping. And all in all, this isn't my favorite era of Summer Walker, but I did still really like the Pull Up song. I think that's a really good song. And so this brings us to where we are today. Finally over it. The artwork and the visuals, we have Summer Walker with an old white man. It's reminiscent to a famous picture of Anna Nicole Smith. And so we have this gold digging imagery. I think that it's honestly a very full circle moment, very reflective of the times. I think that a lot of people have come to the conclusion that they no longer want to date for love and they just want to date for money. And it does have that storytelling aspect of watching a woman who led with her heart get heartbroken, and although she has fame and although she's created a family, she has yet to find a partner who is worthy of it. And so she's really just kind of offering up her youth in exchange for money, which is kind of sad. It is kind of sad, but I don't know. I thought the picture was cool. She had a different old man with her at the VMA premiere, which I didn't even peep that it was two different people. But yeah, the old man on the cover is in a wheelchair. She had some guy at the VMA premiere. The guy from the cover actually died shortly after the release of the album, and she didn't really have much to say about that. But she's been going through it with us. What I take from it is that dating is hard. Relationships are hard, especially in this social media age where we have phones in our pockets and we have the illusion of choice. And Summer Walker is not above that. She's really been going through it with us, and she doesn't have all the answers other than get money, essentially. She's doing what works for her, and she's like, at this point, fuck it. I'm gonna get the bag. And in listening to the album, I honestly enjoyed it. It's truly a blend of all of these different personas and the different aspects of her put into one project. I think we definitely have those moments of the girl next door with her guitar on YouTube. We definitely have those moments of tapping into that traditional 90s, early 2000s R&B, Usher, Keisha Cole sound. But then we also have the little sexy alien stripper. We have some songs like that. We got them fun songs for the club. And I think that she wrapped it all together very well. Honestly, I like it. We have the softer vocals and the acoustic vibes from her early era. We have the nostalgic yet new neo-soul R&B from the Over It era. We got the raw emotional misery and the grown and sexiness from Still Over It. And then we had that playful experimentation from Life on Earth. She's finally finding all of herself at once. And musically, this might be her most self-aware body of work. And the numbers don't lie. I think the album has been very successful. But we can't talk about Summer Walker in 2025 without talking about her most recent scandal, which has pretty much overshadowed the album, unfortunately. The cheating scandal with Rich the Kid and Tory Bricks.
I'm not gonna bother y'all. Like, you can buy me a new phone so she don't know the number and save it under Pizza Hut for all I care. I'm not gonna post nothing. She was acting crazy. She's always acting crazy. She be fighting people and everything, calling the flower shop looking for the address. Like, I can't have a serious relationship with someone when they baby mama act like that. So I'm so glad that y'all are back together. I want y'all to be together forever, and I just want to with you.
So after her history of songs about being cheated on and dealing with infidelity, calling that out in her various relationships, and kind of somewhat being a symbol for those who have been wronged, she then goes through this sudden scandal where she openly admits to being a side piece, she defends it, and she doubles down on it.
I don't have no shame. Let me start off there. I have no shame. I date for money now. Your man, he spends money. He spends money. I don't even have enough fingers for how many bitches that he cheats on you with on a daily basis. And you have no self-respect whatsoever. And instead of taking that shit up with your man, you come at everybody else. But the source of the problem, I'm not your issue, babe. I've actually been advocating for you for a long time. Even in the voice memo, you heard me say I've been advocating for you for a long time. You know I've been fucking with that man for years. Everybody been fucking with him for years. He be fucking with everybody. So what's the problem? What? You're never gonna leave. You're never gonna leave. It comes to a point where it has to be a certain level of disrespect that you have got to come to. I'd be all right, this is it. This nigga can do anything to you. So if you're not gonna leave and he's gonna keep cracking that wallet wide fucking open, then can't we all just get along? I don't want this man. I don't care about this man. I don't like this man. And you should be so glad that I don't, babe. Because if you did, you would really have a real problem. Now I don't care anymore. I've been dragging it on for years, dealing with him because, sometimes I just, sometimes I don't need it. Clearly, obviously, I live in a mansion, unlike you. But I just wake up sometimes, I'm like, I want to go here. I want to do this. I want this. Send me some money for this. Send me some money for that. And so, a little boy toy who's just nice. He's just sometimes he has filled up my whole entire house with flowers before, multiple times. Took me to Italy, took me to my friends. And, just little nice stuff. Something one time he gave me $25K for my mortgage. And I could have kept getting it. But right, lucky for you, right after I get right up to that cusp where he would fully take care of me, I don't want to go that far. I just want to be the side. That's what I was saying. I just want to be the side and I just want you to chill. I don't like him enough to lay up next to him every day. I don't even know how you do it. I'm not going to start talking about him. I'm not going to start talking about him, but you know the things about him. Girl, I don't know how you do it. I was just trying to play my little position. He clearly won't stop, and he's obsessive. This be on the internet, because when I did this, how long has it been since I did this? It's been so long since I did this. Why would I even be doing this? Why would I even be doing it? Shit, at this point, let me get something out of it. Y'all stream finally over it, y'all. It's number 1 on the charts. It's doing great. Keep it up. I'm going to say whatever I got to say to that nigga, babe. You think I really love him? You think I really want him? If I did, you would be cooked out on the street.
Do I think she's right for this? No. Do I think that... What do I think? I think she looks a mess, honestly. But do I think that it fits into the whole picture? Yeah, it actually does make sense. Honestly, when you put together everything that she's been through, when you put together the whole arc, when you put together this new project with Finally Over It, we're seeing Summer Walker literally embody the imagery of a gold digger, a hoe, a villain. She visually and is publicly standing 10 toes down on trying to take someone's man. She's defending it, she's trolling with it, she's leaning into it, and the album imagery mirrors that unapologetically. And say what you want. Of course there's going to be criticism. There's going to be fans who feel betrayed and people who don't know how to process it. But it's honestly one of the most interesting pivots I've ever seen from a modern R&B singer. Especially a woman who built her career on raw emotional vulnerability, on heartbreak anthems, and on calling men out. It's almost like watching a superhero turn into a supervillain. Maybe an anti-hero or something in between. Summer Walker is the Batman of R&B. She's not good and she's not evil. She's just Summer. And this is the contradiction that makes her so endlessly fascinating. She's a walking duality, the victim and the villain, the heartbroken girl and the unapologetic side chick. And that's why personality-wise, she honestly reminds me a lot of Nicki Minaj. Not musically, but in the sense that there's this chaotic, unpredictable edge to her. It's self-awareness mixed with delusion, mixed with brilliance. The willingness to lean into a persona that most artists would run from. Summer Walker is giving full-blown villain origin story, while still being the soft, emotional girl at the center of her music. And that duality is exactly what makes her fascinating. It's interesting. It's weird. It's bad. I don't feel bad for the criticism that she's getting. I think that it is deserved. But do I see this really derailing her career? No, because it fits in. From the jump, she was never playing into the person that we thought she was going to be, the artist that we thought she was going to be. Summer Walker resonates because she's not just one thing. She refuses to be digestible, and she refuses to be consistent outside of the studio. She embodies the messiness of real life. Maybe not my real life or your real life, but the interesting choices that we make, the messy choices that we make, the messiness of it. She is a true artist. I honestly think that if we had social media back in the day, there would be a lot of Summer Walkers, in the sense that the nature of how we perceive them will be a lot different. I think that Summer Walker is just honest, right, wrong, or indifferent. She's honest, she's authentic, and that authenticity will honestly take her farther than her music ever will. And that's saying something, because her music is really good. The contradictions make her confusing, but they also make her very human. And in that way, she's created a new archetype of an R&B star, or really a pop star in general. The appeal is the chaos. Whether you love her, judge her, or don't understand her at all, you can't deny that Summer Walker contains multitudes. Every era reveals a different universe. And maybe that's the point. She's not trying to be one person. She's trying to be all of them.